Is the color blue that I see the same color blue that you see? And what is it about our words that can actually change the color of reality? And how does this help us live a happier, more fulfilled life? Well, let's give you a story. The Himba people in Africa were given a color wheel, one with a bunch of greens and a blue, and they found it very difficult to spot the blue. They were given another set of greens with a slightly different color green, and they were able to spot the slightly different color green very easily. And the reason for this is the language that they use. The Himba people, in their dialect, don't have a distinct word for blues and greens. They are the same, and it's called buru. Just as the ocean is a mixture of blues and greens, it is the word for nature. They have a different word for red, seirandu, which means if there is a tiny hint of red within those greens, they can see it very distinctly. In the Russian dialect, they have two very distinct words for blue. There is Siniy, which refers to a dark blue, a navy blue, or even indigo. And they also have Goluboy, which refers to a sky blue, or a light blue, or a grey blue. The Japanese have a word for the space within things that they call ma. It refers to the space between things, that which isn't. It is the quality of absence. As if you were lying beneath the trees, looking up at the sky, and you weren't seeing the trees, you were seeing that which isn't the trees. Or if there was a drawing on the circle, you weren't just looking at the circle itself, but you were looking at the space in the circle and outside of the circle. Without this word ma, it is actually quite unintuitive to think of these things. However, with this specific word, suddenly the way that you interact with reality changes. In the African dialect, Xhosa, there is a word called Ubuntu, which sort of translates as I am because we are. That this word will transform the way that they interact with themselves, not as a singular, but as a collective entity. We would be speaking of us rather than I. The words we choose to use are fundamentally important to our experience. Words are literally magic. They change reality for us. And this isn't just spiritual mumbo jumbo, this is being practically measured. In my classes, I had two rules. One, no snitching, and the second one is don't say the C word. But you may think that I'm referring to the UNT version. I'm actually referring to the ANT version. Believe in yourself. Try not to limit yourself with the words that you use. Try not to say can't. Because as soon as you say that word, you've limited yourself, you've blocked in, you've reinforced the reality that it won't be done. Choose in those moments to use different words. Say that I am unable to do something because, or I would be able to do something if I had this. Suddenly that allows better understanding of yourself, the situation, and moving forward. I implore you to practice the words that you use to speak to yourself and reality, because it will fundamentally change the way that you live this life. Our words define our perception, just as much as perception defines our words. And our experience and our perception sort of change our identity, and our identity changes our actions, and our actions change our future. So the words are fundamentally magic spells that we cast out into this world that change our future.
You're a wizard, Harry.
In the old African dialect, in the African dialect, Xhosa, there is a word called Ubuntu,